Greetings, Stalkers, and welcome back to the Grymm Mansion. I am your host with the biggest headache, Weird Aldrich, and I am joined tonight by
Bomber Nathan, your host that is gonna get a brain replacement soon. But Aldrich, what you got a headache tonight?
yeah. I couldn't sleep anything because the hours already changing and the sun's already dawning earlier and earlier, and it's messing with my circadian rhythm if I even have one still.
Your cicada, nice, and my cicadas appreciate that as well. Yeah, the sun's been I noticed the sun's been rising earlier and earlier.
And the thralls didn't properly nail the windows down. It was a mess.
We have to get new thicker, darker curtains.
I was gonna say we have to get new thralls.
Maybe that's also a good idea.
Some of
Anyway,
them are looking really
what's the movie we're
already?
what's the movie we're supposed to be talking about?
Friday the 13th.
Like this. Oh, my vacation bag.
Yeah.
How many days until Halloween? Like 100 and something?
Too many. Way too many. Alright, you know the thing. The candles have been lit, the circles have been closed, the words of power have been recited. Let us begin tonight's gathering. Tonight, Friday the 13th, the original. Well, if I'm breaking any news to no one, Jason is not in this one. All right.
Oh,
Spoiler alert. It is the origin story of Camp Crystal Lake.
actually, no. Let me correct that. Jason is in this movie,
Right.
but not in the way you would expect him to be in this movie. Let's just
Yeah.
get that.
This is actually even better. I don't give a shit. I'm thinking like I'm doing analysis already. Fine. I'm gonna just write this down.
It's
Anyway, we'll get back to this.
because I guess okay. So anyway, Camp Crystal Lake. It's a place that exists. I mean, I don't know if it's real, but whatever. It's 1958, and wait, what?
And what?
I'm reading my notes and I'm
The
confused
suspense is
already.
killing me.
Okay, I don't remember. Okay, I'm actually. Phew. Family singing. A
I
happy
remember
song near
that-
the lake. Right. This is not a flashback. The prologue. It's a family.
I don't think
That's-
my notes say that the counselors were singing a song because two of them leave. And if they're a family, there's something really weird going on, and I don't mean weird in the good way.
I mean, it could just be a really weird family. But anyway,
Really strange.
yeah. Someone opens the door while the kids are asleep, and you have the. Oh yeah, so a couple goes upstairs to do things.
They're
Sounds
doing the
weird.
horizontal dance.
Yes, and the stalker goes upstairs slowly, and it's very interesting the reaction that that this couple has to seeing because this stalker isn't even like trying to hide itself. It's just there. It's just going up the stairs, and they see this person. I don't remember what they say, but they're like, "Oh, They
Okay,
seem
they die.
they die. But it's interesting that they seem kind of startled, but not in the way like they're not really horrified until until they start getting killed. Obviously, it seems to just be a normal person that went up the stairs. That's what it feels like. This is another movie similar to Halloween that employs the POV killer
Mm-hmm.
type of shot, and it's cool. Anyway, it's the present, 1980 something, I guess. There's this backpacker, this girl backpacker that's wants to go to Crystal Lake, and she talks with a dog, enters a tavern. She asks around. I think she's either asking to know. I don't remember if it's directions or if it's like for a ride. I think it's for a ride, wasn't it?
Yes, she's
Because
asking
she's for
for
like
directions and then asks for a ride. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And everybody in the bar is like looking at this girl doesn't know what she's talking about. There's this weird, creepy guy that you're gonna die there. Just being all like, yeah, you're fucked. Another man's like, okay, fine, I'll give you the ride there. A trucker, like,
Is this
oh, go on.
it is the locals are calling Camp Crystal Lake as Camp Blood.
Oh,
That is
this.
something that is obviously foreshadowing
Hmm.
where everything has been happening. But yeah, on the truck, they do have a conversation about weird incidents that keep happening every year or other year or so whenever they try to reopen the camp, correct?
Hmm.
Okay.
It's like a jinx, apparently.
Yeah, the incident started in 57. There's a boy that drowns, and then some murders in 1958, poison water in 1962, then fires in some other years. But she's obviously not paying any attention to any of this, dismisses it, and just thanks the guy for the ride.
Yeah, he leaves her actually a bit ways off. She has to walk the rest of the way. Meanwhile,
There's a truck that arrives at Camp Crystal Lake full of new, young, horny counselors, and a man seems to already be fixing up the place.
mhm,
He's talking to one of the girls who's looking to leave, but he can convinces her to stay for another week, and we get another POV shot of already someone stalking this girl. They come very close, and she did not react for some reason. Like the camera actually was right. They were very close.
aloof.
Completely distracted, I guess.
Yeah.
I've heard that the counselors are all setting up camp. Our girl, the cook, is still catching rides to get to camp, and it seems that she's in a car with
Oh yeah, there's
a
a
killer.
there's a yeah. It's very interesting because the movie uses the POV shot to say, oh hey, this is the killer. Whenever you see a POV shot, that's the killer. You don't even need to hear anything else or any sort of context. It's just that's the killer. And so yeah, she catches this ride from this truck, and there you go, POV shot. Oops, the killer's the driver, and she doesn't know. And they drive past the place, and she's like,
Yeah,
wait,
she asked it to stop. The
that
car
was over
just
there.
doesn't. Hmm.
And the car just doesn't, continues complete silence, like the stranger just doesn't talk to her. And then I think she just like opens the door and just like throws herself
Yeah,
out
yeah,
of it.
she throws herself out.
Yeah.
Indeed. To which the driver reverses and tries to chase her, eventually catching up to her and slashing her throat,
Man,
which
to be
completely.
honest,
Sorry, go on.
yeah, I feel like that was a waste of character.
I know,
She didn't
right?
even get to the place. Come on.
And here I was thinking that she could be our final girl.
Yeah, that was a bit. I guess they were trying to do the whole subversion of expectation, but like,
Fair enough.
come
I don't think it was the best decision. Anyway,
on.
one of the counselors asks for help while they're swimming, but apparently it was all ploy to get kissed. Oh, because he was pretending to be drowning, right?
Yeah. He was pretending that he had drowned. In fact,
Yeah, yeah.
like he then was like pretending like he wasn't breathing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
I'll
that
get
was
some CPR.
yeah. He's supposed to just it was just to kiss a girl basically. There is one scene that either you deliberately chose to not mention. It's the saddest scene in this entire movie. It's so depressing. It's so horrifying in the bad way, which is when they kill a snake.
I was going to mention that.
It's just so sad, man.
Indeed.
Why?
They kill him with a machete, poor thing.
Poor Snake. Anyway,
They trash the room to decapitate him. Yeah, even
Yeah.
in my notes it says humans disgust me.
I hope they die.
Well,
Interesting thing about slashers that have an interesting trope. Sorry, this is a bit of a tangent. I've noticed there's a trope in slashers, which is there seems to always be like a thing that seems to kind of justify very tangentially the killings, and I think this is it for this movie. They killed a snake, and now they must die.
also all the premarital sex.
It, huh? I can't believe that came out of your mouth.
No, it's not my opinion, but clearly these directors don't like it because the biggest trope, or one of the biggest tropes in slashers is just don't get out to have sex.
Just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stay virgin, kids.
Um,
I know you're gonna disagree with that.
I am not condoning this statement. Anyway, there's a cop that shows up looking for a Ralph character, who apparently is the town crazy and is being a complete hard ass on these kids who have done nothing wrong yet but killing the snake.
I actually love this character, this Ralph character. He knows everything. You're all gonna die. Yeah, he was hiding inside of a fucking.
Oh, you're talking about Ralph, not the cop.
The Ralph. Yeah, of course, not the cop.
Right. Because he shows up from the pantry.
Yeah, he like somehow he infiltrated their house, like the shed, and he's being all vague and saying you're all gonna die.
And then he's been sent by to warn them that the place is cursed. Oops.
I think he grabs he had like a bike. Yeah, he jumps on the bike and keeps
pedals away.
Keeps his rambling while he pedals away.
Yep.
It's just
hilarious.
Funny, man.
Should have taken the tip.
Yep.
Pun intended, in more ways than one. The power goes out, and they turn a generator on. One of them finds an old cabin, and another notices the wind has changed directions in like 180 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
And yet a third decides to share a dream about raining blood.
Oh yeah, it was one of the girls that actually, to be honest, once again, I know you're supposed to be better with names. I didn't even write their names.
No, me neither.
I mean, I don't really give a
today we're very in sync today.
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know, it's one of those bad days. Bad in a bad way, you know.
Yeah. Son. Anyway, these last two counselors make out, and it starts raining. And the three of them, the one,
water,
yeah.
Just two.
Oh, we can only hope. The three not yet having sex decide to play strip Monopoly, while the two already having sex are doing so under the corpse of someone. The girl goes out to pee.
That they don't know, obviously.
Yeah.
The way you're making it sound is like, oh yeah, let's fuck under this dead guy. It's like, no.
They don't know about it. They don't know about it.
Because this is the first guy that died. This is the guy that was like
back at the prologue, right?
At the prologue? No.
No, right. You're my bad. Oh
no, this is the guy this is the guy that noticed the wind was changing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, because there's a whole like subplot that he's kind of he has a crush on a girl that is dating this other guy. I think it's something like that. And he notices some movement in a shed, and he gets killed in that shed. And so these other two guys you said that start they go into that same shed, not knowing that that guy's corpse is there. And yeah, they go. There's the bunk beds. They go on the bottom one, and he's at the top.
Correct. And after this happens, the girl goes out to pee.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy is getting himself penetrated. The killer then stalks her into the bathroom, and she eventually gets asked the question by the killer.
Okay.
The Monopoly game is... I was in a very good mood when I wrote these notes, you can tell.
And then now you're not, and so you're
I'm not.
Like, just whatever, just here's the punchlines, whatever.
Yeah, have them. Giving out free punch. Could be giving out free punches.
What?
Anyway, the Monopoly game is called short when one of the girls remembers the window was open on her cabin. And so since it's raining and making a lot of wind, she has to go close it. Boss, the guy that was fixing up, the guy in charge, leading the counselors, is out eating good in the diner, and he's looking to come back to camp before the night is over. Open window girl. This is how little I cared about their names. Open
Nice.
window girl stops by the bathroom where a horny girl got killed, but no body and no blood. The killer is there.
Wait,
Go on.
there's two girls that got killed in the same place in the bathroom, wasn't it? One got right, one got axed in the face, and the other is like I don't honestly I don't remember which one it was. I don't know. I'm starting to believe I cannot no longer tell white women apart. I don't know if that's sexist or racist or whatever. I don't know.
I can't tell any of them apart.
There you go. Must be not a me thing then. Must be in general.
But anyway, she finds nothing in there. The killer is around. We can see that by the music and the POV, as we've been mentioning. The boss counselor is getting help to tow his jeep. There's some problem or another.
Yeah, because his jeep, for whatever reason, just stopped working.
It's always on a stormy day. And open window.
Yeah. And he gets a ride from a cop.
Open window girl is going to sleep, but she hears someone screaming for help. She decides to investigate and finds herself flooded with lights by the archery range. And if I remember correctly, we don't really get to see how she dies.
Right, I think not.
Artist girl and the remaining boy go look for her as they heard her scream, essentially. They find the axe in the cabin and decide to break into the office to phone the police. But
the axe is sleeping very comfortably in the bed. I have that noted here.
Cool. But obviously the landline has been cut.
Yeah, this is it's one of those movies that like probably it started a lot of tropes. The generator, the cut power lines. I don't know which ones they invent and which ones are just like rehashes from earlier movies, because this is what year is this?
Halloween did the phone line.
Right, Halloween did the first. That's true. I think.
Are you sure?
1980.
Yeah.
Yes, it did. It did first. There we go. So it's already a trope at this point.
Yeah,
I guess.
So boss is on his way to camp with police, but the cops were called someplace else because again he was getting a ride, as you mentioned. Forced to walk, he gets whacked as well.
Right in the
go on.
near the entrance, like right near the sign, I think, to enter the place.
So the surviving guy heads out to fix the generator while the artist girl is trying to sleep too.
I actually have the names here. I have Bill and Alice. I don't know how.
Probably just these last two.
I know. No, Steve. Okay, Steve was the big guy. Was the big guy. What am I saying? Steve was the guy that got killed near the sign. Bill is the guy that goes check the generator. Alice is the girl that's sleeping. Yeah, Bill notices that the generator is actually, because they thought, the generator stopped, it must be out of gas. But he goes and check, and it's actually full of gas. So what's going on? And then Alice wakes up from a nightmare, goes make a cup of coffee.
Yes. She goes brew some coffee. She brews some coffee, and then goes out looking for the dude.
Yeah, because now he's not coming back.
Yeah. Turns out he's nailed down with something or other, and so we can't really return. She flees into the cabin and barricades herself.
Just to be clear, Bill's body is when she closes the door of the generator place, Bill's body is stuck to the door with arrows through his body. So
yeah, isn't that what I said? He is nailed down.
It's not
fair enough. Thank you for the clarification.
He's arrowed down, technically.
Well, I was being metaphorical.
Okay, sorry. I get a little caught up in the
No,
details.
no, it's fine. You did well. Again, she flees into the cabin and barricades herself.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently gets airdropped one of the bodies, and someone
Oh
shows
yeah,
up.
yeah. A jeep shows up, and
No, before that. I think at least.
before that,
I think so. I don't know. There's someone shows up. Yeah, there's an
some
old lady that shows up.
I was gonna say the jeep shows up, and
Oh, I thought it was the.
you're
Yeah, go on.
and she thinks she's saved because a person showed up, and that person turns out to be your mom
Wow.
or or your aunt. I don't know. Can't tell the difference between white women. But yeah, she's like
She introduces
she's
herself as
yeah.
Pamela Voorhees, and she
Mhm.
mentions the story of this kid who drowned, and she names him Jason.
Jace.
Yeah. In a flashback, Jason is calling Pamela mommy, as she
Mhm.
reveals that Jason was indeed her son. And she's the one that's been enacting all of these murders and poisonings and fires. It's all been her.
Yeah, she's been trying to avenge his death, I guess, because the janitors, while he was drowning, the janitors were instead of helping him and saving his life, and so he drowned because of that. And so I guess the implication is that she hates everyone who because they're not saving people from drowning,
Ah, bah, kids.
or that, yes, just kids, I guess. Them kids,
Right.
them kids that are.
Stop.
Sorry.
They fight. The survivor runs away. Alice, as I think that's what you said.
Alice.
She's eventually caught by deranged Pamela. But eventually, Alice manages to decapitate Pamela.
With a hatchet,
Yeah.
right? Because there's a whole. I think this is Pamela's hatchet, right? Because she brought to.
Mhm.
She was trying to
Probably.
kill Alice with the hatchet, and then yeah, Alice manages to grab the hatchet at the last minute. They're in the beach, in the sand and whatever, and then she just like chops her head off.
She runs to a boat, a rowboat, spends the night there.
Yeah, because she doesn't trust. She
Anything.
It's her survival strategy is to get on a boat and then go to the middle of the lake and then sleep there until the police arrives, which is pretty smart when you think about it. It's like, yeah, if there are no other boats, that is the safest place, assuming that there's nothing in the lake. There was something in the lake.
So as the police call her over from shore, the other side, and she's getting up to look at what's going on, Jason springs out the water and seemingly drags her down. In the
Yeah,
movie,
this
go on.
rotten, decomposing corpse of a boy, which we assume is Jason. Yes. In
Was
fact,
he
she
decomposing?
knows it's Jason. Like, it's a body that's been underwater for like decades. It's I mean, I don't know if it's decomposing is the right word, but it's like it's there's probably a word for this. Like
Bloated?
watered, putrefied. I don't know.
All right. The movie ends with her waking up screaming in the hospital bed.
Yep, and she asks the police if the boy is still in the lake, and the police is like, "What do you mean? We didn't find any boy." And so Jason is still out there. The same way that his mom tried to avenge his death, Jason will try to avenge her death.
Right.
Presumably in the next movies.
One is way more successful than the others, let's just say that.
True. Not to mention that Pamela is just like a person, right? And Jason's a force of nature. Well, anyway, that was the movie summarized. What do we have to say about this one?
Them kids.
I mean, I guess that's pretty much it.
The movie itself is not the best. The acting isn't bad.
Oh yeah.
Script is whatever. It's people
I
getting
would say
killed.
the script is slightly better than. Oh, you're gonna hate me for this. Slightly better than The Evil Dead, the first one.
Oh, that-
But
That's a
the
standard.
thing, right? Is that The Evil Dead is a very different movie than this one. I mean, at least in my opinion, it's like
Definitely.
right. This movie, in fact, this movie feels kind of boring when you think about it in comparison to other
Mm-hmm.
horror movies of the time, because it's like the only thing supernatural here is Jason, which shows up at the very end of the movie.
If there's even a Jason, because apparently it was all a dream.
True. So we don't even know if it's real. That's true.
Taken out of context, remove the
and-
other movies, knowing that you have those sequels.
Yeah. out of context, this is pretty like it's kind of boring because it's barely even a. I mean, it is a slasher by definition, but it's barely a slasher in the sense that the killer, as I said, is just a person. That's insane, granted, but like if you compare it, like again, if you compare it to like The Evil Dead or to Halloween, like those monsters, those killers are something else. There is a specific kind of, how do I explain this? There's a kind of feeling of dread from just the presence of those entities alone, without even the context of the situation that the characters are in. While here it's like, well, it's Pamela Voorhees. She's a woman that's killing people because she's insane, and I see her reasons for doing so. What I'm saying is I don't relate to Pamela necessarily. Sure, I relate to her cause, absolutely, but she dies because she's beheaded. Like, how many times have I been beheaded? I lost count at this
And
point.
by me alone,
Okay, you didn't have to
sorry.
just say that, but okay. It's true, like, she's a human, and it feels like, you know what I'm saying? Like with for example with Michael, it's like
He was just born evil.
no, and that's the thing about Michael is that he gets shot like 3 times, and sure, you think he's died, like you think he's a regular person, but then his body disappears. So it's like there's, what I'm trying to say is like there's a level of mystery relating to the rules of the killer, I guess, and that's a big part of horror, in my opinion. And here it's more like just thriller, horror thriller, like a killer, a
Right.
killer movie.
I agree to. I can even go further and say that the movie, in my opinion, is clearly trying to one up Halloween in terms of violence, the graphic depictions, and even the plot
Yeah.
tries to humanize the killer a lot more, saying like, see, like with if that scene where Jason pops out of the boat did not exist, you would have absolutely no supernatural element in the movie, and
Yeah.
it would be a lot more of a thriller, and perhaps it's only considered a slasher
By
in
definition, I guess, by the fact that it's a killer that's slashing people. But
right. But my point was more of it could have been right. I think if you had the point of view of either the killer or cops, you could have turned it into a thriller.
mhm.
But yeah, given that it's from the point of view mostly of the counselors and they're the ones being, I think that's what defines it as a slasher. It's
Yeah,
this
yeah,
point of view that you are following the victims constantly, and you only get on the eyes of the killer when the movie wants to build some suspense.
yeah. It's like
Suspense.
it has some interesting ideas. I'll give it that, because it's the idea of this person that you know they're the killer because of the POV, because of the way the movie is filmed, and in nothing else could you say that this character is the killer, because they're just like a regular person on the outside. That's interesting. And again, Halloween kind of does this as well in the beginning. So it's not unique to this movie, I guess. So could have been.
Yeah, and I think that holding this movie in comparison to Halloween is the right thing to do because Halloween came before, it set the standard for what a slasher should be, and
Yeah, and it's
comparing
a
it to the
time
perfect
period
movie.
as well.
Yeah, exactly. But comparing it to the perfect movie is completely unfair because
Okay, okay, fine.
absolutely no other movie can live up to those expectations. It's unfair.
Fine, fine, fine. Um, yes. But just in general, I think, yeah, it's a bit of a disappointment that they set up this expectation that, ooh, there's some jinx happening, there's some weird curse happening in this lake, ooh, and then it's not anything supernatural, except it is, except it isn't. except it is, except it isn't. So it's like it's nothing substantial, paranormal happens, and it's like it's kind of disappointing. Like you could have done a lot of things with this.
The best thing about the movie is the twist. I think this movie works best if you have watched any of the
Yep.
other Friday the 13th movies first.
Yeah, that is an interesting thing, which is the movie works better. It's kind of like Star Wars. It's not meant to be watched in the order that it was produced, uh, depending on
Well,
your
it is
opinion. Of course,
meant
you can disagree
to be
with
watched
it,
in the order that it was produced.
but not in the order
Right. We're
of
outing
it.
ourselves as Star Wars fans here. Is this something that we want to do?
Right, this is something we want to set
It's
up.
out there. F- it. I don't care today. George
feel
Lucas,
like-
you f***ed up by putting the naming, the renaming, giving numbers to the f***ing episodes.
But here, okay,
I'm upset about
but-
the midi-chlorians, but that was a bigger mistake, okay? End of story. The way to watch
well-
them is 4, 5, and then you watch 2, 3, and then you watch 6. That's it. That's the correct way to watch them.
That's true. I cannot I can't really disagree with that. But anyway, we're talking about a completely different thing. It's interesting that it's a movie that it feels like it only works after the fact, with the other movies in mind. So, or I mean, it's not that it doesn't work. It's that it's a rare case in which the original movie is enhanced by the existence of sequels somehow. This rarely ever happens. Again, with Halloween, with just anything in general, like any movie, any horror movie that you think, probably the first one of that series is the best one. This may be very few cases. Like name one that's better, like the second or the third one.
Better than what? Excuse me?
Name a horror sequel that's better than the original. Other than, the one we're talking about. It's very rare. If
Evil
they
Dead.
exist.
I could argue for Hellraiser. I don't think I want to.
I mean, I don't know. It's the devil's advocate. Hey,
No, yeah, it. Not today. Sorry, Satan.
but yeah, it's a rare case in which I think, that you're right. It is better if you know the existence of the other sequels, and if you know the other sequels better than the original.
There's a modern one that we have to watch, and I need to make sure I'm not saying this wrong.
There's probably a million of them, isn't there?
No, wait.
It's like one of those.
It's a pair of movies called. They were released almost back to back, and the two movies are the third Saturday in October, and the third Saturday in October, Part 5. And you're supposed to watch them, Part 5 first, and then watch the other one.
What?
And the idea
what the hell?
listen, the idea behind the creation of these movies was that the creator wanted you imagine yourself being a teenager in the early 1990s. Okay? And you're going to Blockbuster. Remember that's a thing?
Oh yeah, rest in peace.
And you want to rent specifically Friday the 13th. You want to watch some Jason action. And when you get to the store, you find out that the entire section of Friday the 13th has been removed from the shelves. And the only movie you have left is Part 8. Like the guy, whomever came, took all of them except for Part 8. Not wanting to be let down, right? You take Part 8, and that's your first movie. Then you're introduced. Imagine being introduced to Friday the 13th with Jason Goes to Manhattan, which like an absolute rampage through New York City. And you have all this knowledge, and then you come back to watch the first one, and you're expecting Jason, and there's a
Mhm.
plot twist, in that no, it's his mom. His
Yeah.
mom is doing all the killing. He's coming back because it's like it's the reverse Harry Potter. There's so much hatred between the both of them that he's come back to kill them all for Ma.
And also, I do kind of need to address a thing, which is I said that there is no, other than Jason at the last second, at the last moment of the movie, there is no paranormal things. I mean, maybe you could consider, but no, not really.
Go on.
Pamela is not possessed by Jason because she is trying to avenge him. Nah.
No, I don't think
I
Jason is
just
possessed by Pamela either.
right. They're two separate entities that are working in tandem. That's not really. Right. There's a lot of loose ends as well. Okay, you know what? I think the real killer should have been the snake. The snake, the mommy snake should have come back to avenge the death of her child snake that they beheaded for no reason. That should have been the real killer of Friday the 13th.
I would have been fine with that. I can say I didn't particularly like the twist because I was expecting. I mean, the movie came out very shortly after and off the back of the success of Halloween. And damn, at the time, I wanted some more.
Mm-hmm.
I was down for that. And
Like who's it going to be? It's like a there's there's kind of an attitude that the crime the kind of crime thriller movies have of like, oh, who's going to be the killer. And we here at the Grymm Mansion, we kind of have the same attitude towards slashers, which is, whose stalker is it going to be this time? Is it going to be that guy that we met a couple of years ago in that bar in Vienna? Is it going to be like, you always kind of like have this expectation, who's going to be the killer? What kind of powers do they have? What kind of weapon do they use? And he was like, oh, it's Pamela Voorhees. Okay.
I mean,
We
again,
already said this.
didn't
Yeah.
it really didn't take that much for me anyway. I liked the twist. I see what they were trying to do, although it wasn't nearly as interesting as Halloween.
Yeah. You go a lot. You go out a lot more times than I do. Have you ever met any Pamela Voorheeses, Pamelas in your unlife? Crazy old ladies.
I will plead the fifth.
Okay, true. I should not have asked that. That was irresponsible of me.
Right. There is one more thing I want to mention, is that this was one of the first movies where Kevin Bacon was in.
I didn't even notice.
You didn't notice Kevin Bacon? Oh, you don't remember noticing Kevin Bacon because we it's been a long time since we watched this one.
I don't remember noticing. That's it.
This was before Footloose, obviously. So, not exactly the movie that catapulted him to stardom.
Mm-hmm. That's why I forgot about that.
Yeah, understandable. Right, and obviously, I don't want to take off from the movie was a commercial success because it prompted a myriad other movies. If I'm not mistaken, it is the one with the most sequels or reboots or whatever you want to call them. I think. Not sure.
No,
if,
that's possible. Yeah.
not sure if
It's either that
Hellraiser.
or
no. I
Hellraiser.
think it's Hellraiser.
It's either this one or Hellraiser.
I'm pretty
Which
sure.
one? Yeah. Wasn't there another one? I feel like there's another one that has a bunch of. With the amount of sequels they do nowadays, it's probably like that title probably keeps changing around.
No, Friday the 13th. That's more. Anyway,
There we go.
is there anything else you would like to say about?
I don't. I don't know. I feel like it was a movie.
Yeah. All right. You want to go ahead and rate it?
Sure. I'm gonna rate Friday the 13th 6 keys out of 10 mas. Or has, or however you want to say it.
I was actually going to give this one 4.5 angry moms out of 10 dead babies.
Yeah, I probably gave it too high of a rating. I should have.
No, we can make an average. That probably comes down
An
to a
average is like
5.5 or something.
I think yeah, it's 5. Okay, I'll settle at 5. 5.
Right. It's not a memorable movie, guys. We could barely remember. The fact that I remember that the movie has Kevin Bacon is
Yeah, I don't.
nothing short
I
of a
forgot
fucking
that
miracle.
seriously. Yeah. Anyway, you do the honors, right?
Yeah, regretfully. Okay, so that concludes things, I guess. In which case, the candles are out, the circles have been erased, and we will let silence reign again. The Grymm Mansion is closing its gates. We wish you a horrible night, and until we meet again.
225 days until Halloween.